So yeah, that's the plan, to ask him and be on, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. So
Oh my god. When I told Angel about what he did, he fucking like fanboyed out so hard. Like he actually went and followed him, and he doesn't give a fuck about any of this stuff. So
why is it when I look for your channel? I always
example of why I have no control over my own channel. This is it.
like, hey, we're live now.
You invited Amanda and I on here, and you expect to be in control of your own channel, Bubs?
Well, I mean, that's my problem, right? I invited, 2 independent, strong women on my channel, where I would have trouble with even one strong, independent woman. I just screwed myself by inviting 2. So.
What you don't understand,
we love you, Bubs.
Most of the time, Jen and I are alone with a bunch of fucking dudes, and we never get a word. Well, we get a word in edgewise. I don't, but I'm drunk now, so I can talk as long as I want. Fuck you guys.
You're alone with 3 other dudes here. Although I believe, 2 other dudes and a badger who appears to be muted at the moment.
Badger, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, you want to tell everybody what we're doing?
Sure. Go for it. I'm drunk. I don't know what's going on right now.
No. Somebody else.
Well, the plan is we want to see who can get drunk the fastest out of Bubs and Mama. And the rest of it is just coming along to the right.
I think it'll be me before either one of you.
It'll be me if I keep making mixes as strong as this one.
I'm the lightweight of the group here.
I don't know about that.
Right now, that competition's over. I'm there.
No.
Where are our viewers?
I passed out like 30 minutes ago on the stream.
Well, the way I look at it is we're in lockdown, and you can't go to the pub and have a drink. So let's bring the pub to YouTube, and to be honest, I'm with a group of people I'm much sooner to be talking and drinking with than probably most of the people that are in my local pub. Anyway, so
yeah. See, I've got a couple of different choices. I've got 3 beers that are still good right now. After that, if I decide to continue drinking, I have 4 beers that have been shocked by being frozen and now taste terrible, and a bad batch that has given me a hangover because it's, that poorly made right now.
Do you make your own beer then, or do you brew yourself, or?
I do brew myself, but I haven't brewed in about 2 years.
That's a weird fucking way to put that, by the way.
I brew yourself. Yeah, it sounds really wrong, doesn't it?
Well,
much so.
The phrase "I brew myself" might explain why I have a rash there, but.
All right, I'm throwing out a few more links, and I'm gonna.
I see you put that in the group there, sir.
I did, and I'm gonna retweet our thing and say, "Come on, everyone, come and encourage us to drink."
So, actually, I've got to ask you. I know I sort of joked about it earlier, Amanda, but like, I know I kind of made the joke earlier that you and the girls last night were responsible for me not sleeping, mainly because of the dickhead incel
Thanks
video.
For giving that a little bit.
It's not really. But I meant to actually ask you, how did you actually like that thing going on there with that uncalled for? Because it's one of my favorite YouTube shows of the week to watch.
I loved it, seriously, and I said it last night. I'll say it again. I can't doing that was so much easier than dealing with fucking anti-science people. I have to deal with climate change deniers every day. I did the fucking slurp dude a couple weeks ago. I can't stand that shit. It fucking turns my head in. But dealing with some misogynistic douchebags, I'm cool with that. It's easy. It's fun.
Well, just as well.
You're a woman who's dealt with that every day of her life. That's not outside the norm.
I will just say it's just as well they're no longer talking about validation, boy, because then you've got the best of both worlds. You've got a flat Earth science denying freak who's also like a completely misogynistic piece of shit as well. I mean, ridiculously misogynistic.
But Jeff and Jen, if you can back me up on this, how fucking many times a day that we go out in public do we deal with men who treat us like that? It's just
all the time.
yeah.
I mean, getting condescended to never fucking stops. Never gets
Condescended
fucking
to,
old
hit
either.
on, all of that, all of it. It's
I mean, don't take this personally, Jen, but hey, Mama, what's your number? Where you live at?
I won't take it personally. I'm an old boy.
Yeah.
Hey, Gilfs need love too. So, everyone needs love, honestly. Jen, hey, what's your number?
Math big.
I don't
Would
discriminate.
have a problem with that. So
Hey, I gave my phone number to Dr. Carl Kruseniski today, and he phoned me.
you're actually like using the name now. You'll actually
Yes,
say
using
it?
us earlier, and
because
now
he
you're
has confirmed
public.
Mero and I are interviewing him around the middle of next month. It is a definite article. It's definitely happening. So, for anybody who does know Dr. Carl, and I know there's not many people watching at the moment, but anybody who's watching there, Dr. Carl is a science communicator, sort of on the level of who's your guy in the US who you love, Amanda, the engineer.
The engineer.
Bill Nye.
Yeah, but
He's like the Australian version of Bill Nye, except he's actually a scientist and not an engineer. If you're talking in the UK, he's like our version of Brian Cox. So he's not a small.
Well, Brian Cox though in the UK, I mean he just does one certain thing, which is programs on like astronomy and so on. He's not like a general science communicator the way say Bill Nye is.
That's why.
I mean, I don't think we've ever
Dr.
had
Carl
it.
is more like Bill Nye because he's general science.
Yeah.
He publishes books all the time that talk about science in general. He will talk about climate change. He will talk about physics, astronomy, and stuff like that. I actually spent over half an hour talking to him about science, not about the interview, and it was freaking awesome. And I was shaking because he's a personal hero of mine, and I got to talk science with him. It was brilliant.
I don't think we've ever had anyone in the UK that has been like a just like especially the way Bill Nye, where he did stuff that was aimed at children. I don't know. We've had like programs that are aimed that way, but we never had like this one guy or whatever that was like a great science communicator. Just in general, I mean, because obviously we know Bill Nye. He is an engineer. He's not a doctor or anything. We know that, but he is a damn good scientist, and he puts like concepts in ways that kids can understand, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got that Netflix show now where he's talking to his same audience, but as adults.
The Save the World thing, is that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched that. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Quite enjoyed some of the
met
humor in it.
Bill Nye, and had a conversation with him, and that was.
Oh, so you got to meet your hero. So you know what I'm going through.
No. Carl Sagan is my hero, and he's fucking dead.
Okay.
So Bill Nye, cool, but I mean, like, we grew up. I'm a '90s girl, so teens, '90s, whatever. So we did a lot of like Bill Nye watching in our like middle school and high school science classes. And then I ended up meeting him, and we had like an hour-long discussion about dark matter. But still, no, Carl Sagan will always be my.
I get that.
Oh, yeah. Sagan. I mean, Sagan is like. I mean, even though like that's an American series, like Sagan is because Cosmos was shown over here. Sagan is like revered here as well. I think possibly there was a program that ran on British TV for 20 years called The Sky at Night. A guy named Sir Patrick Moore. I don't know if you.
I know.
But,
I know who he is.
I mean,
He's
Dave.
Dave.
Hey, Dave.
But,
I'm always happy to see Dave.
But I mean, but the weird thing is that he transitioned audiences because once they stopped The Sky at Night, he was actually ended up of all things as presenter on a video game show in the 90s, which is really weird. But But yeah, he was, I suppose. Yeah, I'm just trying to think like science communicators on British TV. It's not been anyone quite like a Bill Nye, but we've had people like Brian Cox and maybe before that Patrick Moore, but they specialised in one kind of area.
Well, we had a thing. We had a guy on kids the Progression Kids TV. I've forgotten his bloody name. Crazy head. Oh.
See, there you go. So you can't think of his name off the top of our heads.
See, whereas I can remember as a teenager reading the books written by Dr. Carl because he was so influential to me as a teen with my love of science and stuff like that. So, he's amazing. I've still got his books here somewhere. Most of them. I don't have his newest ones, unfortunately. But he wrote them towards teens with the idea that adults could enjoy them too. And they're really just introducing you to the concepts in science and stuff like that. So he's a big advocate for women in science as well. So yeah,
just imagine the influences in science. I didn't learn. Okay, so as amazing as the collaboration between Neil deGrasse Tyson and Seth MacFarlane, the new Cosmos, as amazing as that show is, I knew about it.
Fucking Cosmos. I'm sorry, and I have great
respect
for Neil deGrasse Tyson. I do.
It's Cosmos,
but I don't know. There's something about having someone like seriously. Since I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, Carl Sagan has been my fucking hero. Like higher pedestal than you could possibly imagine.
I
and to
will
have
agree.
Somebody take that place, whoever they are. It breaks me. It really does.
I will agree with Amanda on this. I like Neil deGrasse Tyson, but to me, I do not think he's very good at explaining things, but he
doesn't have that.
Carl Sagan had there was I don't know. There was just something about the way Carl Sagan explained stuff.
It's the
just made you glued to that set, and
integrates in there. Carl Sagan is poetic by comparison, and Neil deGrasse Tyson, as fantastic as he is, he's not going to do it.
Yeah, he's very matter of fact, and he's good at explaining concepts. I think a good science communicator is someone who can take like really, really difficult concepts and explain them to someone like me who is scientifically illiterate, and I can sit there and think, oh yeah, I get that. That's what a great.
I'd still be down for interviewing Neil deGrasse Tyson though. If he's ever watching this stream, contact me, Neil. I'll interview.
Or take a 7-year-old girl that is interested in science and make them make their life's work out of it. That's what Sagan did for me. So
yeah.
Like I said, as much as I love Tyson, he's got, I don't know, it has something more to do. Are you raising your? Oh, okay. I was
don't do it like that.
No, like that. That's what I was doing. I was not. No. Come on. Hail Sagan.
Hail Sagan.
Hail Sagan.
I don't know
Hail Sagan.
To do with the way the media is today and everything. Like when Sagan was around, you had his show and maybe a couple of interviews and his books and whatever. But with Tyson, everything he says is out there, not just in tweets, but in his interviews and everything else. And so every little thing that he says wrong or whatever, it sticks with you. And maybe that makes a difference, or maybe I'm just a fucking Sagan file. I don't know. But
I mean, it's possible. I mean, I saw the Neil deGrasse Tyson, Seth MacFarlane Cosmos episodes before I saw a single Carl Sagan Cosmos. But
really,
someone someone like me is still capable of realizing, okay, obviously Sagan came before. He is, in fact, the greater of the two, because let's face it, as much as
Carl Sagan.
I think it helps Carl Sagan's legend.
Tyson can dumb it down for someone like me. Goddamn, you've got Carl Sagan that makes the most complicated systems make sense to anyone.
Which is something I struggle with greatly. Like, I can't, when I do
Say hello
like
to your chat
videos
there.
on climate change and stuff, the thing that takes me the most time is going from like the way I would normally talk about it to the way everybody can listen and comprehend it. And it sounds obnoxious, but it really is. That is so difficult, and I respect him so much for it. I really do.
It's not obnoxious because I can't think of anyone that could possibly go beyond the phrasing, not a sunrise, but a galaxy rise, a still more glorious dawn awaits.
Yeah.
I mean, get better than Carl Sagan. I dare you.
No, you can't.
It's not going to happen.
You need something very, very special to eclipse Sagan. It would need someone very special to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, as much as I love Neil deGrasse Tyson, he is not Carl Sagan. He just isn't. So I'm an asshole. I don't care.
Yep.
Bring it on.
Hi,
Rango,
by the way.
I mean, when somebody is that important to you as far as your development, especially in a particular field like science, then it makes total sense that having them replaced in something would be disappointing because this is a hero you're talking about. And all things aside, whilst Neil deGrasse Tyson might be very good at what he does, he's not your hero.
Yeah. Okay.
So it makes sense. Like, I mean, if somebody tried to write books like Dr. Carl did that got me going with science, then I think I'd be incredibly disappointed by it, and I'd be a little pissed because, don't copy his style. This was the way he did that, and he did it really well, and he still does do it really well. And that's the point. So I'd be a little bit disappointed by that.
Yeah.
So I totally get you, Amanda.
Okay, so that's my ultimate hero. Why don't we go around starting with Dave, whichever the fuck way he is. Who's yours? Is Dave still here?
Dave.
No.
Okay.
I
He doesn't remember.
I don't remember. That's the problem. It's taken me since I got here to remember that the person I was talking that I said to Jeff was Johnny Ball.
Oh, I remember him. So, but he was more of a math. He was good. It was educational. But he didn't really do science communication. He did like maths communication.
Maths, but he did Johnny Ball reveals all and things like that, which went.
The thing is, his daughter's more famous than him now. But
yes. But he's.
There's been a few people like it.
Did you have Johnny Ball over there?
No. No, you're talking. How far back are you talking, Dave, for him?
I'd say 70 into the 80s. I think when he died, wasn't it?
Yeah. So our equivalent back then would have been Professor Sumner Miller.
But one thing I will say about Johnny Ball, to his credit, is that he actually made maths interesting to young kids, which was the most boring subject in the world.
Oh,
but you know what I mean? To me, it was.
Oh.
But Johnny Ball made it interesting. That's what he's.
You are talking to two women here who love and have done a lot of maths. Yeah, don't you diss on the maths?
No, I'm not dissing. But to a kid, to your average kid, that is is generally what a lot of them will say is the dull subject. Let's be honest about that.
I think it's more
Did you say so, Jeff?
Oh no!
Yeah, what about geography
geography.
But you're weird.
See, I just want to say real quick that Randolph is impressed by the intellectual conversation that's taking place amid the drunkenness.
I'm more intellectual when I'm drunk.
I'm not. I'm stupid as fuck, bro.
Seriously, don't diss on the math around me, okay?
I will say, I just saw Richard put in the.
What I was trying to say was I would rather do fucking 3-dimensional calculus proofs look at them than read actual fucking like poetry.
Maybe my brain isn't sort of just geared to it. I don't know, but or maybe my brain isn't geared to it. Maybe it was the way it's taught to me. I don't quite know, but I just found maths mind-numbingly dull.
You were probably taught the mechanics like you were taught the process of how to do it rather than the reasons why it was done.
Yeah.
Then maths becomes boring. If you don't learn why things happen, maths gets boring. But when you actually get into doing high level trigonometry and calculus, and you're looking at curves, and you're doing the derivative of a curve to work out the motions through something, and you're basically deriving equations of motion. It's amazing. It really is.
The word
I'm sure it is. I mean, like, someone who barely got through his times table, you know.
All right, it's cool.
Yeah, well, I get it, Jeff. But I mean, for like Amanda and I, where we've done calculus, and I'd say Dave would be the same here, where we've done calculus and we've done derivatives of these equations, and we've seen the way that things got to where they were. It's like that. It's like a child looking at amazement at something new. It's outstanding. It just draws you in and wants you to know more. And I think that's the beauty of science and maths. It's just.
This is what happens when you invite two women on your stream. They start talking about the Earth like it has curvature the same way hips do.
You just invited the wrong two women on your channel.
Yeah, I mean, there is nothing that I think man would agree with me. There is nothing I wouldn't do to advocate learning of science and maths.
Oh, I am like the hardest pusher for STEM in my community, especially in younger women. Like as much as as hard as it is living in the South, the one thing that I really push for is the STEM community with the young women in my son's school. So.
Yeah.
Dr. Carl was trying to persuade me to. I was talking about I might go back and actually get a physics degree, and to go with my maths and computer science. And I was going, but it'll probably be either I'll either do astronomy or astrophysics, you know, because the sort of things interest me. And besides that, quantum mechanics is just so fucking hard. And he goes, do quantum mechanics. It's awesome. And as long as you remember these basics, it's brilliant. There aren't enough women in quantum science. No. I love it. But,
and this
as a viewer.
This is one of the reasons why I want Mama Atheist back on my channel for an interview, like as soon as possible, because she's doing what, you know, I just showed Randolph saying here. You're a hero for promoting STEM, but particularly like with women where, you know, I mean, women are lacking in STEM. You know,
I tried, like, okay, so, I mean, everybody here, I'm sure, knows I fucking live in Georgia. Clearly by my voice, you know, I'm not from here, but we moved here a few years ago, and when my son got into high school last year, he's a sophomore now, I started exploring a little bit and realized that there was not only no STEM program in my son's school, but there was nothing for girls at all in that area. And it pissed me off. It's also one of the reasons my son's principal is scared of fuck of me, which is kind of funny. Long story, but yeah. So that's the, like, you know, I do the atheism thing, I do the climate change thing, but when it comes to, you know, I care about my son's age group, and he's a white male. He's going to be fine. The girls his age, however, especially in this area, not so much. So I pushed them to actually start a STEM program in his high school, and they finally did at the beginning of this year. So it took an entire year for me to get, actually a year and a half, because I started before he even got into high school. So it took me a year and a half to get them to fucking do it. And there's only a few of the girls that are in the program so far, but we work together and try to move forward, and it's something. It's just something. So
this is a problem in STEM at the moment. It is such a fucking boys' club.
Oh my God! Yes.
And it just makes it so hard. And if you're a woman who has got any education in any of the STEM fields and you're putting forward your knowledge and your opinion, people go, "Oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about." It's instantly that. And it's like, no, fuck off. I studied this. I might not have a doctorate. Talking to that and Randall saying they'll have to call me Anigen if I did Dr. Anigen if I do a degree. I won't do a doctorate. I don't want to spend that many years at it. But when I was talking to Dr. Carl, he kept calling me Dr. Jen back, and I'm like,
yeah,
I don't. I know I'm not entitled to that epitaph. No, please don't do that.
Yeah, I've had a couple people call me that, and I'm like,
no, stop that. If I did a PhD, fine. Even then, I don't think I want to be called doctor. It's like
I
think you absolutely should.
No, because honestly, I know a lot of people in the field, especially astro and solar physics, that have PhDs that do not go by doctor. They don't. Most people that go by doctor are medical in the medical field. The people that get their PhDs in hard sciences just don't. We don't do that. So
yeah, it's a snobby thing to do, really. A lot of the people who will take the epitaph are people who basically only just scraped by or had a dial in a PhD. It's not something you hear. I mean, you don't hear Neil deGrasse Tyson going around saying, "Call me Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson," because he doesn't, but he has a PhD. He's entitled to that epitaph, but no. Yeah. And I think I'd feel exactly the same. Please don't call me doctor. With Dr. Carl, he used the Dr. Carl as his pen name when he wrote all these books, so knowing him as Dr. Carl is what I do, but he doesn't like people calling him Dr. Carl, but I couldn't help it, which is why he kept calling me doctor as well. So I know he was doing it back at me just because he knew trying to get it through to me to stop calling him doctor.
Okay, well, I'm a doctor, don't you know?
Oh, fucking Ken Hovind can just go fuck off.
You say you've got more right to use the title Dr. Dino than he does.
Hang on, right?
Everyone.
Here's my thing. You have like people being interviewed on CNN, MSNBC, I mean, even faux news, I guess, sure. And the male half of the species, and I'm using half generously because I know non-binary people exist. I'm just overly generalizing here because I've been drinking.
Well, non-binary people are often halfway in between, so I'm guessing you can still say half.
But I mean, like you've got people who actually identify as male, and they're unquestionably referred to as doctor or whatever title they go by. And people who are more feminine are just Ms. or Mrs.
No, that's not true.
Jen, wait.
Yeah, go.
Okay, I love you, but in America, it is different. Women are.
Is that?
Yes, we are just not. Even with my degrees, people look at me and they're like, "Tits, stupid." That's it. Like it's just.
No. Don't get me wrong. That happens here too. But I'm saying I know people like Dr. Becky in the UK who is referred to as Dr. Becky. She's quite happy to be called Becky, but she's referred to as Dr. Becky. And there's quite a few people with women with PhDs who will use the epitaph, especially for professional purposes, like if they're a science communicator or something like that. So it's not done. It's just it's harder as a woman to get respect for it.
Bob, am I right that it's just different here in America that women are?
It is.
I don't know if it's the culture that comes along with it, but women are just lower than everywhere else in the first world countries of the world.
Is it a religious thing, you think? Is that hang on.
It absolutely is.
Easily, then you need to stand down for a second because a man is talking here. If you want an atheist, I can demonstrate the point that you're trying to make, because here in America, yes, women are definitely different and lower, which, Jen, is why I spoke over you, because you're a woman and you're less. That's
See, I've learned to be more, to speak up for myself. I learned to do that from being talked over. So
See, I have learned to shut the fuck up and learn my place. And that's the fucked up thing. That no matter what I have accomplished, no matter what I learn, and none of it matters because I'm a girl in America. It doesn't fucking matter. So
see, I have parents who are very, very supportive of me through everything I've been through. So and my dad was a critical thinker and instilled critical thinking and instilled upon you that if you had an idea about something and it was worthwhile, then you should speak it out. So I was encouraged to talk out, and
yes, but people don't
same with my siblings. So it wasn't just a thing because of being intersex or anything like that.
Wait. Let Dave talk.
Sorry,
the point is,
Dave,
I thought that your ideas are not worthwhile.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the issue.
because you don't have my data. That's how it works in America, sadly.
I mean, I've talked about it before, and I know it's a stupid move. And as much as I loved astrophysics, I moved on from my first degree in astrophysics into climate science because of the boys' club, especially in this country, that was astrophysics. It just was. And I mean, climate science isn't as hard as a science as astrophysics, and I fucking fell in love with that shit when I was 7 years old. But it's not easy. And granted, that was 15 years ago when I finished, or whatever, however many years ago it was. But and it's different now. And I wish that I had been one of the women that had stood by and said, "Fuck that! I'm going to stay in this boys' club and put all the other women on my shoulder." But I wasn't. So.
Amanda,
You have to be pretty strong to do that.
I
can I ask you a question? A serious question. That you sort of saying that you've been brought up almost that way to sort of know your place, whatever. Keep quiet. Just in the last sort of few months since you've been in this community, if you changed a lot in that time. And the reason I asked that is that, I mean, maybe it's just because you were sort of shy or whatever when you came onto the platform.
Oh, you all know I'm shy as fuck. Come on.
But
I seen you like the very first time like you came on my channel. I think it was when I had Jen was on there, and Mero was on there, Dave, when we were ripping John about it. You were like seemed to almost be like almost too shy to like contribute at times, but I've just watched you in the last sort of month, just the way you seem to have come out of your shell and whatever. Do you think being in this kind of community's helped with that at all, or is that of interest?
Yeah, I mean, mostly yes. This community is a lot more forgiving and accepting and understanding, but it's also a lot easier for me to talk with friends. Like when I'm on Dave's channel or here or on Six Pack, I'm with all of my friends. So I can talk to you guys like it's nothing, whereas you go out and you go out in the professional community and you're surrounded by people you don't know, predominantly male, and it's so hard to have your voice heard. It really is, and that fucking it's getting better, but when I first started out, yes, it was really hard to be heard. And a lot of you who know me know the family I grew up in as well. I have a very right-wing family. My son and I are extreme black sheep in my family. So, I'm just used to being told to, "You're a girl, shut the fuck up." That's pretty much it. So, but yes, this community has absolutely helped so much.
I definitely have noticed a a change in you, just in the time I've known you. Where I first knew you, you were very, even on Six Pack, you were kind of quiet to begin with. And okay, maybe it's because we've all got to know each other a little bit better now, and you're all more comfortable and have a laugh and a joke within this community. But
I'm just used to telling Jen
you
to
are,
shut the fuck up.
yeah.
That's why.
Well, I'm thinking you practice.
But honestly, I just noticed that in you, and I've got to say, I it's all joking aside and all serious now. I really love your content because you do communicate this stuff really well.
Make up your mind, Badger.
That's very.
You're gonna
sweet.
come in, Badger, unmute yourself, mate, and
Yeah.
add something. But
I have an after me.
There we go. I honestly do think you are a really good communicator, Amanda, when you talk about stuff like climate science and it's like, and I think I've told you, I am like scientifically, anything science, I struggle to get my head around a lot of concepts, and you definitely put it in terms where I can get it. So it's like, that's a sign of a good communicator. I'm a good litmus test. If I understand what you're talking about, you're communicating it well.
I was gonna say I pay Jeff to be my friend, by the way. But no, seriously, Jeff, that's very sweet of you.
Do you want me to do a Jar Jar impression?
Oh, fuck you.
You're paying me enough.
Please don't.
After you, sorry.
I've got a question. Given what Amanda said about how things are in the US, and I know they're bad here, but they're obviously worse there. What are they actually like in the UK? And given that we've only got guys from the UK, it might actually be hard for you guys to actually answer this question for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Matt.
Is STEM very much a man's world over there, and is it harder for the women's voices to be heard?
Yes.
I would say the opposite.
What?
When I was doing science-related education, most of my lecturers were female,
Really?
and I found it I found it actually more difficult and sometimes to relate because of that.
So how do you imagine we felt having all dudes teaching us?
Yeah.
But
And it's been like that for fucking ever.
I would guess
Yeah.
not that great.
Although my general mechanics teacher was a female, and then for like 3 years afterwards, my core physics teachers were all fucking male in my undergrad. So that was a little disheartening. Like I came into school and was like, oh, awesome. My first fucking physics class is a female, and then everybody else was dudes. It was like, fuck me. So.
Having said that, my calculus class was run by women, so
There you go.
so yeah.
I also
I mean, it's funny
most of the female
because
teachers that I had, I got on with pretty well. There were just one or two that gave me some issues, and there were also one or two male teachers that gave me some issues.
see, I mean, this is kind of funny because I mean, anyone who knows me and Jen, Badger, and Dave, this is going to be all of you. You all know how I estimate my own intellect. I
You
feel
underestimate.
dwarfed. Jen, I feel kind of dwarfed by you and Mama Atheist when it comes to intellect.
Well, just as well I'm in the room then to make you feel more intelligent.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I mean, the
wait,
thing is, we're
stop.
good in our fields.
Nobody is smarter than fucking Dave here. So,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would
that's the
estimate.
thing. We're good in our fields, but you pull us outside of our fields. I mean, an example of that. Mero's last video that she posted, she contacted me on Friday and said, I can't get hold of scientist Mel, and I need someone to proofread this and make sure I've got all the science right. And I go, what's it about? I'm thinking she's going to send me something with maths or physics in it. And I'm like, it's biology. And I go, I know jack shit about biology,
I
Mero.
could have fucking done biology because it's part of the fucking core of climate science. Why does Nobody remembers on the fucking climate science.
So
Ever.
she sent it to me, and I'm like,
Amanda,
it looks all right. And then I had to go through all the scientific papers she listed, read them to figure out if she was right.
Jen,
Sorry,
Bub's channel.
Bub's
What
channel.
were you saying, darling? Bub, what were you saying?
I was saying that as intelligent as I think I am, you and Jen both dwarf my intellect.
No, I mean, we worked really hard on one specific course of study. I mean, the climate science has a lot encompassed, but it's still, one thing. People who put so much stock into a fucking piece of paper is stupid, because I've known plenty of people that have no degrees at all that I know are smarter than me. So
The piece of paper you have behind your degree doesn't matter that much to me. The simple fact is I have a really high opinion of my own intellect, and you and Jen both make me feel like I'm kind of dumb.
That's right. Amanda makes me feel like I'm dumb sometimes too.
I gotta be possibly because
I mean, it's true. I mean, sorry, I was talking over
to do
somebody.
with your intellect. That just has to do with you over talking and me telling you to shut the fuck up. So
I would say
Yeah.
possibly because I
However, you can say shut the fuck up.
Shall I mute myself for a second?
I
possibly
mean, I'll obviously do that to Jen, but
I was going to say that possibly because I feel I'm probably in this room, and most times I'm in a hangout. I'm probably have had the least education, perhaps, of most people I'm in a stream with a lot of the time. I always kind of feel like the dumbest guy in the room, and actually, in a weird way, I kind of like that, because it's like it's like I feel like I'm picking stuff up off people. So I actually kind of like that. But like a lot of scientific or concepts, I just can't even begin to get my head around some of the stuff that I hear, like physics or whatever. Like I hear Jen talk about. I can't even get my head around some of these concepts.
I want to talk over people.
Having said that, Jeff, the other day I can't remember whose stream it was. You laid down a whole heap of history, and I'm like, I don't know any of this.
History.
Holy crap, I'm learning something. And it wasn't like it was a surprise because it was you teaching me. It was like it was cool because you were teaching me, and I really loved that. So it's not a case that we're smarter or anything in our fields, and Amanda knows more about astrophysics than I do because she actually has a degree for it. Probably in maths, we're probably similar in what we know, and I know more about computer science than she would, and how microprocessors and that.
Fucking more.
So,
I would say, as a subject, that history interests me a bit more. It's probably the best subject to do in school, but obviously I'm no historian as well. But this is like why I'm kind of enjoying these little collaborations I'm doing with Hissy at the moment.
The areas you have interest in.
by the way, she's
Hitsy blows my mind with her history knowledge. It just like I feel dumb when I'm talking to her about history because it's not my field.
No, and I know sort of some of what she's talking about, but she's on this particular part of piece of history. Part of history, I've got a good generic knowledge, I'd say, of history. And yeah, I mean, I think it was on One Ring's channel where I found out the thing about the magicians or whatever, and the film you were talking about. And I was like, oh, this was based on a real life kind of feud, But I think it was on One Ring stream. One referencing.
More likely than not, it was on Ring stream.
Yeah, and I noticed he was in a chat earlier. I don't know if he's still there, but But this is what I said, why I'm really enjoying this little thing I'm doing with Hissy at the moment. Now, for those, I know Jen's watched it, I know Dave's watched them, but myself and Hissy are doing a thing where we're going through all the Asterix comics. But also, as long as we're having a bit of fun and joke with that. But also, I think occasionally we touch on some real history. looking, asking some questions, and I'm really getting a kick out of that. I'm really enjoying this little thing that we're doing together at the moment. You know,
I'm enjoying watching it. It's just so interesting. And the bits and pieces of history you two are bringing up, I'm like, that's awesome. I mean, some of it I know because I've watched a fair bit of history stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't read history. I'll watch things about history. I love that kind of thing, but I won't read them. I won't read papers about it or anything like that.
My
I won't read
rendering's
scientific papers.
finished.
What?
Badger,
Woo,
sorry.
my rendering is finished.
Didn't crash, Badger.
It's been going for 4 hours.
This joke that has been going on for what? It's almost fucking noon, like 5 hours now.
4 hours to render this thing.
But yeah, I'm
Oh,
we are doing, I think it's about 1 p.m. my time next Sunday. I think it's going to be on my channel this time, but I think we are going to be doing the third Asterix book. So I'll just give you a heads up on that, Jen. But I'm really enjoying these little things I'm doing with Hissy.
Oh, I've loved Asterix ever since I was little, so you're really tickling my fancy with those series.
I would say that got me interested in like Roman history. Those comic books got me interested in Roman history in a weird way. And yeah, I know there's a lot of tongue in cheek in Asterix and it's humour, but as an 8-year-old, you get a bit of more of a kick out of the physical comedy and the slapstick.
Yeah,
but
and then you get the adult humour as a teen, and then
a bit of adult humour that's snuck in there, and even now, like Hissy's picked up. I've read them for years, and Hissy has picked up on some stuff that I didn't even know. A lot of the Latin jokes and stuff, you know.
I know. I mean, I have. I think I might be able to talk to somebody about like Tudor's history, a certain like, you know, modern European history, mid and about 15th and 16th century. But other than that, no, I have no fucking clue. So
you've also got to have an interest in it, and that's the thing. I mean, it's the same with anything that you get good at. You have to like it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And for you and me, Amanda, we like maths and we like science. So I will happily dig through a fucking complicated paper just to figure out what they're on about. And I love it. So
I used to love history.
Something you don't like though.
I'd say
I wouldn't read
was
a
my
history
favourite.
paper. Screw that.
See, it's like you said that I enjoy geography a bit more.
Geography is fucking bullshit. Sorry, boring.
Yeah.
Boring. Gives a fuck.
Yeah, give me a science paper.
I
You
used
know?
to love history, and then I went to secondary school. And now this is an example of going back to what you mentioned earlier with the you mentioned a lot of your teachers being male. My history teacher was not good at making it interesting, and the fact that she was a woman, I think,
actually, yeah.
made it very slightly more difficult to approach her with that, with saying like, I don't care.
What
Yes.
time in history did you do in secondary school?
I did the Black Death and World War II,
Fair enough.
and I hated it.
See,
So what's your favourite
I've had a very
And
different.
I'm not. Sorry, I just want to finish my point so I don't leave the point at the middle where I sound like a fucking retard. The issue wasn't that she presented it poorly. The issue was that she presented it as history was awful and everyone died.
Well, no one made
Everyone
it
does
alive.
die.
True.
Well,
And it was just so much. Just can we go back to ancient Egypt again and talk about them pulling the brains out the noses?
see, so I'll
Everyone dies then too.
Andrew, I think I may have had like,
aggravating.
total opposite experience of you at secondary school with history because I was maybe lucky. I had several very good teachers. There was one guy as a man teacher and two women teachers that I had, and all of them, I was very lucky that they were very good and communicated well and got you interested in it. But maybe it possibly helped that I did have an interest in the subject anyway.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm trying to think of things I did. Obviously, I did Rome in Britain was a thing. The American West and I think the history of medicine were the main things I did. But I always remember like doing like year 7, which is like what 12 to 13-year-olds, whatever. Our history teacher, he gave us a little exercise when he's talking about Rome we're talking about Rome in Britain, but instead of just like saying, "Oh well, the Emperor Claudius, and ordered the invasion in blah blah blah, 43 AD or whatever it was," he gave us this little exercise where the class had to be the Roman Senate, and he would be Emperor Claudius, and we would have to convince him why he should invade Britain. And
there's no right.
Obviously, there's not necessarily a right or wrong, but he was getting us to something about what were the main motivations of Claudius.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he we.
So you had to convince him by getting into the Roman mindset.
Yeah, we had to think. That's the point of it. We had to fucking think, and maybe this is perhaps why I find maths so boring. So I maybe was unlucky. I had some teachers that just read the fucking textbook verbatim, But
yeah, there's one thing I want to clarify, which is why I brought up that my history teacher was female, which is I'm trying to point out that I do actually understand that it can be a little disheartening if you go into an academic institution and all the history teachers fucking brain stop fucking up, and all the teachers and academics are not representing you in that way.
Yeah.
Okay, I get where you're coming from.
Because at the time, with no context, I found it more difficult to relate.
Well, the thing is, in America, at least, I don't know if it's different elsewhere.
Back in 5, all right?
Gotcha, Jeff.
Yeah. I will be listening in, but...
Okay. You grow up, your primary school teachers tend to be more female than male, but as you get older, you start getting introduced to more male teachers, and then eventually you get into college or whatever, and it's like all male teachers, especially with the STEMs and stuff. And that is very disheartening. So I get that. I do.
Yeah.
I get that, Amanda. I mean, I know my calc teacher was female, but yeah, like my computer science lecturer was a dude. Most of my other lecturers were male, but I mean, at least I had that female interaction with my maths, which is great. But I can totally get if you copped an all-male environment, that's even worse.
I can understand that in both sort of an abstract sense and more of a specific one, because for me, when I went to college, several of my teachers were female. It was not so much of a what the hell is the word? It was not so much of just a wall of men.
Boys club?
Yeah, let's go with that. It was not so much a boys club. I went there, and a lot of the staff at the college were women. And the person who was, I would say, most qualified in the maths department of my IT course was a woman. And the guy running the course was a fucking idiot.
Yeah, you get those.
I don't know how he ended up running the course.
In our IT department, our head of the main lecturer for for programming, and he taught COBOL and C. He actually was a published programmer in his own right, so he wasn't just a lecturer, he was a person who actually wrote software for organizations and stuff like that, so he knew what he was teaching. He had practical experience, which was fucking awesome. But even so, because most of the teaching faculty in the computer science department were male, there were only 3 girls in the whole group.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, we were well and truly outweighed. I mean, granted, it's computer science, and you're dealing with people who aren't generally as big a jackasses as they can be in some other areas. Although having had those words come out of my mouth, I've met some guys in IT who are fucking bigoted assholes as well. So, but they were the ones I studied with weren't, and it was harder, definitely
I think
harder.
Part of the problem too, though, is that you get introduced to women as teachers, and you think, oh, this is how the field is going to be, but women are relegated to the teaching positions in a lot of our fields because that's what's expected of us. So, like I said, my general mechanics teacher or professor was a female. And it was, daunting to get further on in my degree and not come across another. In my astronomy class, my bachelor's is in astrophysics, but it's really a double major in astronomy and physics. So I had quite a few astronomy professors that were female, but for physics, the hardest of hard sciences, really, it was my first teacher or my first professor was a female, and then every single one after that was a male. Every single one.
See, okay, here's the problem that I have with the idea that females are incompetent, right? Like, I've never been great at math. I'll admit that outright. But when I was in college, my first algebra teacher was female. I understood exactly what she said the first time she said it. I didn't have to ask any questions. Then I had a male teacher who had a slightly more complicated class. I didn't understand a fucking thing he said. Not a clue. So I had to go backwards and, ask this female teacher I had, and she was like, oh, well, you just do this. Suddenly I understood. The difference is, I kind of think the difference is the level of condescension. And in my personal experience, women don't condescend the same way men do.
No, I don't want to speak for all women, but in terms of the teaching field, which I've worked a little bit in, we know to start from the beginning and work our way upwards, as opposed to starting at a point where we expect you to know something. And it's a level of respect, really. It really is.
Yeah, you can't assume that people know something from the beginning.
Yeah, I want to just put a little counterpoint in there, which is that in my personal experience, I've had the opposite in terms of condescension. Apart from in college, the maths lady, who was the head of the department doing the maths side of the IT stuff. She was the only fucking one who knew what she was talking about.
Yeah,
but you can know what you're talking about and still be able to start from the beginning with somebody. If you take on a lecturing position or a teaching position, you assume that people know nothing when you start, and then you find out where they're at and you help them from that position.
There was the guy running the course. He was there just trying to install he was trying to install the operating system on a server, and he's there putting the thing in, and he's there going, "Why is it not working?" And one of the guys in the class just wanted over to him and pointed. He pointed at the disc and said, "That says DVD on it," and pointed at the server and said, "That's a CD-only drive."
If you know anything about the academic community, the professors do nothing but rely on their TAs for pretty much everything. Like, I remember being a TA and just fucking carrying that class. It was stupid. It was stupid work, and it was unnecessary. But, and then I went from teaching college students to teaching middle schoolers when I worked for the Challenger Center. And honestly, middle schoolers who were there to learn about NASA and cared about the shuttle program were so much easier than dealing with fuckwits who, didn't know the basics of mechanics at all. So,
Yeah, but what is that with people taking on courses that they actually don't have a proper grounding in? Because I've seen that a lot. People go and, I'm going to study this because I got enough points to get into this subject. Yeah, but you don't know it and you don't care about it. Why would you study something you don't care about?
Paper about it either. If you don't fucking know what you're talking about it's a waste of my goddamn time because I have my own fucking classes to worry about. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you.
Sorry, that might have sounded super snobby.
No, I totally agree with the rant, Amanda. I totally agree with that.
I think the interesting thing, I think maybe we'll find it, and I think this is just a general thing about people in general. We all have, I suppose, our own different areas or whatever, or different things that interest us that we could talk about, or concepts we can get our heads around that the other person can't. And I don't necessarily makes any one of us less intelligent. I mean, like I said, I quite often feel like the dumbest guy in the room when you guys are like talking science or something like that, and I'm like, you're talking stuff, concepts I struggle to get my head round. I find funny seeing this. I've kind of like dipped my toes into like debunking pseudoscience at times, but the way I've always said it, I'm not much of an expert in science, but I've got a PhD in bullshit. Which Globermont, she came out with a brilliant retort to that. Says, "Oh, so you're a philosopher?" Which I laughed at as well because I know dick about. I do have an interest in philosophy, and I'm trying to learn a bit more about that. But I'm very entry level. I think Hissy's agreed she's going to send me some books at some point, actually, so I can get a bit of a grounding on a subject like that. But I guess it's there are. It's what I like about this community. I think we've all got different things we can bring to the table. I don't know necessarily like anything scientific. I don't know that I have that to bring to the table. I'm fairly decent on stuff like history and maybe politics to a degree. I've got sort of a grasp of like economic theory, although I think Dave is definitely more versed in it than I am. But I think we've got this is what I like about this community. I think we've all got something to bring to the table. I think my issue's been that my personal issues has been that I've been trying to find what that thing is, what that thing I have to bring is.
The thing that amazes me when we're in streams, when we're talking with Dave, is he's probably forgotten more things than the rest of us know.
Right, hardly doubt that. Although he is
probably. So
I've had conversations with Amanda where we've actually talked about physics or something like that, and you keep up no worries.
Yeah, where it would be over my head. It really would be over my head.
I read a lot once upon a time.
I still read a lot.
Yeah, it's
When
not
I was
that
at
hard.
school,
You get your hands. I read. Regardless of my field, I still read plenty of shit in I read astrophysics papers at least 3 a week. So you do what you love. You read what you care about, and you know what you care about. It doesn't matter what the paper is, what your background is. We all contribute something somehow. So
yeah, I like that you say I read 3 papers a week, because I probably do about the same, Amanda. But do you get the whole thing where I've occasionally seen a paper that I really like the idea of, I start reading it and go, I haven't read the background paper to this. shit, I'm gonna have to go and read the background paper first, and now I can read this paper. So,
I do that with the astrophysics papers, with the climate science papers. I have like, a shit ton of reading that I have to do beforehand, so it's obnoxious. But I do get that with astrophysics. With, I will get on top of something and be like, I have to read X, Y, and Z beforehand before I understand what I'm reading about here.
yeah.
It really
So
is.
when you say you read 3 papers a week, it usually ends up being about 9.
I read 3 astrophysics papers a week. Climate science papers, I'm not going to tell you how many.
They're not for fun, they're work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Whereas the astrophysics and astronomy ones are. I assume you read astronomy ones as well.
I've only recently started reading.
Is it work if you
scientific
really
papers.
enjoy what you're reading? If you got a job you really enjoy, it's.
Does one ever enjoy reading about like the end of the world though? Like,
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the work,
fantasy
great.
books.
What are you on about?
Did you end up reading the black hole paper, Amanda?
Well,
Christianity's a major religion. What are you on about? Of course, they enjoy reading about the
Screw
end of the world.
Christianity. Science is better.
but
Yeah, but you get what I'm
motherfuckers never
saying, Jen.
believe me. They never fucking believe me that climate change is real. So there's
Fuck them.
Well, you're not. Well, you know that the climate change thing is like a hoax that the Chinese invented. Sorry,
exactly.
That's a bad
Oh,
Trump.
yeah.
No
That's
idea
a
how
bad
much I get
Trump
that shit.
imprint.
So
Actually, man's a question.
Part of me kind of hates to end this right now, but I've been awake for a hot minute.
Yeah, no worries, dude.
I work 3rd shift, so to me right now this is about midnight, and
Okay.
I'm starting to lose the thread. So
It was midnight for me too, and I'm enjoying
What
this
I'm-
conversation.
Well, I'll tell you what.
We're talking.
If people want, I'll keep this going on my channel. If
No, it's our fault, Bub.
Like,
We took over your channel. I'm sorry.
no, I work a weird shift. I acknowledge that pretty openly. So, Godless Scummer Jeff or Mama Atheist, whoever wants to take over, I'm glad whoever takes it over, but I'm about to die.
listen, if you guys, if any of you still want to just get on for a general drink and chat stream, I'll set one up. If you guys are,
Yeah, that
while.
works, because that way I can go to bed once I'm too knackered to continue going.
Yeah, mine turns into a science stream by total accident.
Sorry,
Okay.
that was probably my fault. So
No,
That's what I get for inviting people that I think are smarter than me on. But
I still have that question
well,
though.
you
Did you
know
end up
how I'm
reading that
coming,
scientific
yeah.
paper on orbiting black holes?
yes, I did.
Oh no.
What did you think?
I think there is, there's an. We could start this on the other one. I don't
Yeah, we'll
want
do this on the other one. I think that'd be way more interesting.
I'll keep going for a
So
minute.
if you want to hear about orbiting black holes with me and Amanda, where we're going to be discussing time symmetry, which is probably something that most people in the chat actually don't know what it is.
understand how drunk I
I
am.
don't fucking know what it is.
okay, so
I do. I'm getting there too, Amanda. So this is going to be fun.
I have to ask.
I had this conversation with Dr. Carl.
Jen,
Who actually wants to take over from here? Because I'm drunk.
I'm
Mama
saying-
Atheist by her own admission is drunk. So Jen or Jeff, who wants it?
It won't be me. It'll be.
I am setting up a stream right now, so if you want to go to my channel, Godless Scummer, if you find anything entertaining in the drunk ramblings we've been going through for the last hour and 10 minutes,
I'll
you
shove
want-
Jeff's
you want
link
a
in
little
the
bit
chat.
more of that, will be over on my channel shortly. Sorry, I will just be. I'll just copy the link.
And if anyone who's watching this who isn't subscribed to myself or Mama Atheist, if you want some hot science takes occasionally, subscribe to us because we talk bullshit about science all the time.
I tried.
Dave, Badger, you
Well,
going
no,
to join
I
us?
talk more bullshit. Amanda talks real stuff.
I think I better not. I've fallen asleep twice.
Okay. Well,
But Dave, who's going to correct us when we're wrong?
Oh,
You're never wrong.
Dave usually
Yeah,
steps
I
in
am.
when
I'm
I
often wrong.
suck my dick, though. So I mean, there is that. But so I thank you for that, Dave. I really do.
Right, send me the link on Twitter because my laptop needs to be restarted. It's been
Badger.
rendered for the last
I'll
5
get-
hours.
I'll make sure you get it, Badger.
Thank you for hosting this. It's been so much fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry for taking over your channel. Sorry. Our bad.
Yeah, and go and get some sleep. We love you.
Thanks for coming to play.
Yeah, Amanda, I have sent you a link. I sent Jen a link. So
All right. We'll be there soon.
We'll,
I've
we'll
sent
be
Dave
over
the
there.
link, even if he's not going to join. But
Thanks everyone for joining us. Please hop over to Scummer's channel. Jeff, I
Yeah.
put the link in the description to his channel.
I'll
The
put
link
the
should
link
be
in-
up.
yeah, I'll
Dave
the
put
link
it there
in
too.
the
So yeah, hop over there and we'll
I'll link
catch
to
you
the
guys
video.
there.
Yeah,
You link to the video?
I'm gonna. This will be a somewhat open. This will be a somewhat open hangout, but bear in mind I can only have 6 in the chat, so any one time. But I'm gonna kind of make this a just an open thing, really.
Yeah.
Um,
Cool. I'm going to drop out of here and I'll catch you guys over there.
except if your name's Jose, you know. But
I just want everyone to bear in mind this started out as a who can be more drunk, me or Mama Atheist, and I won.
I win. No, I fucking
I win.
You're going
You're
to
kidding.
Yeah, you're going to bed and the man's still going.
And I'm
I guess
just
that's true.
leaving because I'm
Right.
tired.
I've
I
sent a
win.
link to Badger as well. So
Love you, Bubs. We'll catch you later.
Either way, everyone subscribe to everyone else because the rest of these people are fucking awesome. That's
I will just say thank you for having us on.
Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
thank you so much, Bubs. We love you.
But thanks for having us on.
and by the way, Jen just posted a fantastic fucking video. Absolutely the
Yes.
living piss out of what's his nuts, Spirit Science.
Now, talking of Spirit Science, now I'm pretty sure Spirit Science did a video where he blamed the mechanical machine inside the moon for climate change.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Look on Amanda's
Because the
face.
machine in the moon exists.
No, she says, I will not debunk that. She says, no.
I mean, the moon rang like a gong.
Come on, we could
in
have fun with that, Amanda.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll just take a 5-minute break or so, so I can get my nicotine fix, and then we'll move this over to
We'll see you
my channel show. So, I have sent you guys a link. If there's any, I'm going to kind of make this an open thing. So anyone wants to kind of join us, they can do. So,
Yep.
right,
I'm hopping in now.
So I'm going to hop out of this hangout. So
Yeah, me too. Catch you later.
please have
Bye.
fun
Love you all.
All right.
Bye, everybody. Love to do this the weird way.
I am so sorry that we fucking took over your channel like that. That was not on purpose.
It's okay, Jen. I haven't actually.
I'm not Jen.
How
I'm drunk. I'm drunk. I'm on beer number 10 at least.
Okay. Well, I had
Amanda's the one that doesn't sound funny.
Do I normally?
Matthew's the one that doesn't sound funny. What, Dave?
Amanda.
Well, to him.
What?
I'm blaming you for this, Dave.
He's American. She's Australian.
But you listen to my ass all the time.
Okay, so I'm gonna end this real quick because I don't know.
No, I appreciate it. I'm sorry. But honestly,